What's up guys, my name is JDCook5 and welcome back to another episode of the F1 23 My Team Career Mode. We're going into things with a new sponsor that we've gained, so obviously where we've gone up the levels we get even more sponsors on the cars. We need to be looking at ones that are going to be giving us a decent income and a decent bonus also. I quite like the look of the top one also, and I do like the fact that we was able to get a decent amount if the goals are achieved. This time round we are in Austria, a big Grand Prix ahead of us and an exciting one at that. I haven't done this circuit yet, I don't believe, on the actual new format that it is. Well, the actual it's not saying new format, the chicane isn't as risen, and you can see when you go up the top here, you can see once you go into the bit of the track, you can actually see where there's a new level of tarmac. So an interesting thing to hear. I don't feel like this bit is as bad as well either on the chicane. It's a bit more flat. But yeah, obviously in previous games where we've had it where you go over chicanes, you feel like you're going over a complete speed bump. With that being said, we are underway with the practice sessions, a race strategy first of all, just to get used to the track and everything with the car. Also, new setup on the car. If you would like me to show the actual setups that I'm running each circuit, I can even maybe do a little video on the actual setups that I do use. But yeah, that'll be interesting if you guys would like to see that. But yeah, say lap 1 of the race strategy, we're going to be doing 3 laps on the medium tyre, and then we're going to go from there. And it's realistically is getting as many laps under your belt by doing kind of the programs that are available and getting a decent amount of R&D on the board. I felt the car was really comfortable in the circuit, to be honest. It didn't feel like I needed to change too much whatsoever. Suited the track quite nicely, and I felt like I was quite in a decent pace, especially on the softer tyre. First in the speed trap there, as you can see, so a really fast lap that I was able to put in practice, kind of looking forward to seeing then what we would do in qualifying. This is a qualifying run also, so this was kind of will determine what the ballpark figure of where we're going to be ending up in qualifying as we look to complete the end of the lap. I mean, this is so free flowing, there's a lot of speed to be gained through this track, and it is an immense one. I'm very happy to be driving here. It's one of my strengths, I feel like, and we put in a really good decent lap. As we get the DRS there, we go over the line, and it says, I don't think that's accurate whatsoever, because I don't think we will. It says we're going to finish P1 as pole position. I don't think it will happen. Liam Lawson finishing 20th and myself finishing first on the first practice run. But as I say, that doesn't mean anything because we need to do it in qualifying. It's as simple as that. Car felt good in qualifying also. I didn't feel like I had to get used to it too much. Obviously at times where I've gone in qualifying sessions, it can be a bit worse than what I should actually be, in all honesty. But yeah, the qualifying session felt really good as we put in a few decent laps. Didn't take me to the first lap to do it. Sometimes I only do 1 lap and that's pretty much done. As we get onto the bottom of the hill on the final corner, we hit the straight, as you see. So this is the first lap that we're going to be completing as of the qualifying session. Does put us 4th for the time being at 107.324. Interesting lap time straight off the bat. Obviously we're going to get another go at it. We can have as many goes at it as we want in that way, just within the time frame. So yeah, an interesting event in the qualifying, and I felt like we was really strong, in all honesty. We was getting a green delta in the second lap also, so I felt like I was making a decent bit of consistent timing there, as you can see, going down the DRS straight. Our straight speed, sorry, is absolutely immense. I feel like the car is really doing well when it comes to that sort of area now. Obviously when we was looking at the previous Grand Prix where we've been in Bahrain and things like that, we have been really poor, in all honesty, when it came to straight speed. So yeah, we're doing well, and I feel like this car is definitely progressing to where we want it to be. Purple sector 2 now, as we look to go down the hill before we reach the final corner. Be interesting to see where we will be, as we are now minus half a second now on the delta. Currently being pushed down to 7th, so we should push ourselves back up now. Half a second that we have gained, and that puts us back in P4. Unfortunately that wasn't to stick, and we do have to settle for P9 in the end. I don't feel like my qualifying pace is as good as my race pace, in all honesty. I feel like on the qualifying days I don't live up to what the car's potential is. I always feel like I can get a decent start off the line and maintain a good position from there.
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Hamilton, Perez, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Norris, Cook, Albon, Bottas, Oscar Piastri, Stroll, Joe, Tsunoda, Gasly, Ocon, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Liam Lawson, Sargent, and Nick de Vries. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out.
So here we go then in Austria. We've got a sprint race, then a main race as we wait for the lights out to go, and away we go. Lap 1 of 8 this is going to be. So we've only got 8 laps, but we're going to make it count and hopefully get some points on the board in our second sprint race of the season. Complete pile as we look to go into that corner there. You can see the amount of traffic going into there. I wanted to ease off of that corner and see what we could do from there. Alexander Albon right on our rearview mirrors. He's going to go to the left hand side. We're pretty much wheel to wheel as we go into up the hill and through this real tricky corner. Perez in front of us, also Alonso. Caution in sector 2, so something has happened on that corner. I think is all good though, as we now slot ourselves into ninth. So we would get I think it's 1 point or 2 points if we stay in this position. Hopefully we're able to go up a bit more and gain a few points. I can't see us going that far, and that is due to the sheer competition we've got in front of me. Fernando Alonso there 300th of a second, Perez 600th of a second, so there is a chance that we could make some overtakes. Obviously this is a no pit with the 8 laps only being commenced, and we're not going to be pitting, we're not going to anything like that, so it'll be interesting to see where we are going to end up as we go down the hill to complete lap 1 of 8. Is it going to be one where it's uneventful and stick in the same position, or are we going to make our way up the grid? As we look to see now, Fernando Alonso in front of me. I'm not going to get DRS just yet. That DRS will be activated in lap 3, but we have got a decent bit of slipstream, and we are up on the outside of Fernando Alonso, and through we go on the veteran in the Aston Martin. Brilliant overtake up the hill, really clean also, and Alexander Albon's got a decent amount of pace, and he's going to take a look at Alonso now, fighting the Williams car against the Aston Martin. Late on the brakes there as we nearly collide with Sergio Perez as he gets a decent exit out there compared to what I do. Lap 3 of 8 now, and we're still in the same sort of position, but we have got kind of room in front of us where we could make overtakes, and we might gain another position. Sergio Perez still in front of me. He's right on George Russell, and then Lando Norris with a little bit of gap between the Mercedes and the Red Bull. Sergio Perez going wheel to wheel into that corner, and Jesus Christ, that is sticky to say the least. Oh, I didn't expect that to see in front of my eyes. As we look now with George Russell in front of us, we're going to get the overtake. We've got DRS also as his front wing also opens, as we do gain a decent bit of speed. This time round we are on the inside line, and we are through on the Mercedes of George Russell. Lap 4 of 8 now. We're halfway through this sprint race, and we have made up a few positions compared to what we did have with our qualifying. Norris and Perez now having a battle, so hopefully they slow each other up and we might get another opportunity to make some overtakes. They go wheel to wheel on that straight. Perez now slotting behind Lando Norris. 600th of a second splits myself and the gap in front as we look to now try and gain a little bit of time on them. 300th of a second, 400ths. Yes, we are kind of gaining on them, so with them two battling we are making up the time. It'll be interesting to see if we can get past one of them and gain even more points. P7 would be comfortable in all honesty, because at the end of the day sprint races aren't the most important. It's the ballpark of where we're going to be at. We're going to get a better start in the main race, also with a better lap time being created hopefully, as we are on the softer tyre, and we should be alright. As I say, we're going on the final straight now, completing lap 4 of 8, going on to lap 5. DRS is activated still, but George Russell's going to take a little look at us on the medium set of tyre, which is very strange in all honesty. Very, very odd. A fast lap 7 with a purple sector 1 and a red sector 2, but in all honesty nothing really happened in the time that I was shown these laps. I felt like I was able to kind of maintain a decent pace but not go any further than that. I didn't feel like I could exceed my delta or anything like that. to be able to kind of go forward in the race. As you can see, Lando Norris still making a decent gap, even with DRS. Unfortunately, where he's stuck so close to Perez, either or where they've gone one in front or one behind, Perez and Norris are getting DRS either way. As I say, lap 8 of 8 is going to be coming up for. I'm quite comfortable with where I've been. I feel like I've run a decent 8 laps in this sprint race, and we complete these last few corners as we look to end the Grand Prix. But yeah, as I say, it's been really good in all honesty. Obviously, I don't want to tempt fate. Anything can happen still as we look to go and end this race. But no one's really behind me. The gap in front of me is gaining a lot, to be honest. The fight is definitely between Norris and Perez. I've never really been involved in that battle. As you can see, the tyres are completely worn. They're gone. They've been pushed to the limit as we look to go down the hill before we hit the final corner. Max Verstappen being the race winner, of course he is. Who else but Max? As we go over the checkered flag and P7 for the sprint race. It could have been better, don't get me wrong. I mean, P7 isn't exactly flattering, and in all honesty, it's not the best. But for where we are with the car at the moment and everything else, we're at no way of competing with such cars at the moment. No way possible. Confirmation of the standings then. So we get 2 points finishing in P7. So I was quite happy with that also. George Russell gaining the final point in 8th. And then unfortunately for our teammate, he finishes dead last. Really, really unimpressive from him. And we might look to change him ever so soon.
Welcome from the beautiful Styrian Mountains for another chapter in the story of the Austrian Grand Prix. The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 metres above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of around 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill of turn 3. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Perez, Norris, Cook, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, Oscar Piastri, Albon, Stroll, Tsunoda, Bottas, Joe, Gasly, Magnussen, Ocon, Hulkenberg, Sargent, De Vries, and Liam Lawson. And now it's time to head down to the track. Anthony Davidson is alongside me, as usual, for today's race. They've been involved in a number of costly incidents lately. That's got to affect their mindset going into this race.
Certainly confidence is an important factor. And every time you're involved in an incident, it's not just the car you damage, but that confidence as well. But all the top racing drivers are able to tune that out when the race gets underway and focus on the job at hand.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
Here's the one we've been waiting for then. We're going to be commencing any minute now. It's 5 lights out and away we go. We are in P6 now, a much better position to be in as we got Lando Norris just in front of us. He moves to the right. I'm on the left-hand side early on in the brakes to avoid any collision as we hold the spot. And we go in this Grand Prix P6. The two Mercedes wheel to wheel behind me. George Russell on the hards. Lewis Hamilton on them softs. Be interesting with the contrast with them, who keeps up with who, as one of them looks to try and overtake, but that is not possible for either as we go really late on into the brakes there. Caution again in Sector 2, so a collision being made. I also make a collision with Lando Norris there, a real sloppy bit of a manoeuvre, and we do check the vehicle to make sure the front wing is all good. Nevertheless though, it has been a good start as we look to try and maintain our position and hopefully go up from there. As I say, Lando Norris just in front, Sergio Perez in front of him. Not too sure who makes up the, actually see the third and second places will be either of the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, and who else but Max to be in P1 as we look to now go and complete this lap 1 of 25, shifting onto lap 2 of 25. Once we get onto lap 3 we will have DRS, and that's when things become interesting. As long as we can stay within the margin of a second, we will be gaining DRS on the straights. Fastest lap goes to Max Verstappen, and there is no surprise there whatsoever. Lap 2 of 25 now, as you can see, a purple and green sector still in the same position as we previously were to the previous lap, with Norris just in front. Caution in sector 3. Something's actually happened in front of me from what I can tell, as the yellows go up from there, and it looks to be, who is it going to be? Oh my lord, Jesus Christ, Max Verstappen. Wow, Jesus. He is out of the Austrian Grand Prix, and what a Grand Prix for him to be out of. An absolute engine failure for Max Verstappen. I say I wasn't expecting that. There was near collisions there, as you can see. We whizzed past. We actually overtake Norris under the yellow flag, but it hasn't been flagged up by the stewards. And we have gained an almighty position, being in P4 now. Max Verstappen out of the session, being confirmed. And now we are looking to see if we can get anywhere closer to Sergio Perez. Norris and Hamilton battling it out as they create a gap between themselves, and George Russell, the harder tyre, not really working for him as they can't really compete. Lap 7 of 25 now. We've gained a gap behind us, and we've gained a gap in front of us. As you can see, I'm not too sure why, but it seems to be that Charles Leclerc is somewhat holding up Sergio Perez, and that has created a gap where I'm able to gain on them. And now we are in contention for a podium place as it stands. Lap 7 of 25, 500ths of a second splits myself and Perez. A second between myself and Charles Leclerc. So we are going to get DRS on this straight. So it is just anticipating and it is waiting to see what we can do as we look to go into the final corner then. So we're going to get DRS. I'm not too sure if we're going to gain any time on him whatsoever though, because he's going to get DRS also. He's definitely in the faster machine there. As you can see, we don't make much gain on there at all though. Early on into the brakes to get a better exit, and we do seem to get a good exit, but once again Perez is getting the DRS in this long straight. We do get the overtake button also, and we have gained some time. Leclerc to the right, Perez to the left as they battle wheel to wheel going through that corner. You can see Carlos Sainz also in P1, and Perez is through, and I'm going to take a look at Charles Leclerc now as Perez is through, but I'm going to go wheel to wheel with Charles Leclerc on this straight. I'm going to get DRS. Leclerc's going to have no DRS, and we are wheel to wheel going into this corner as it seems to be who's got the most bottle, and I certainly have as I go past Charles Leclerc. And what an overtake that was, and what a battle we've got on our hands. That yellow flag from where Max Verstappen had an engine failure, that has definitely worked in our favour as we moved up the pack and we've gained even more time. And now we are in P3. This is such an unlikely position for this car to be in all honesty, I'm going to take it and hope it lasts as long as possible. We haven't been in this position at all. We've got loads of P4s, P5s, we've been around the pack, P6, nowhere near what we should be. And that's what we are doing right now as we look to try and take a look at Sergio Perez, and we're going to have a go late on into the brakes, wheel to wheel as we go up the hill, and it's P2 for us as it stands. Don't know how long that's going to last for, but as I say, I hope it lasts as long as possible. Brilliant scenes as we go into Austria now. Lap 9 of 25 as we go up the hill. Leclerc and Perez going wheel to wheel also, and this is absolutely biblical racing. This is unreal. Lap 10 of 25 now. We've still gained a decent bit of time in front. So in front Sainz is 4.9, but behind myself it's Perez in 500th of a second, and around about a second for Charles Leclerc. Also, I didn't realise this just now, but Lewis Hamilton has kept up the pace also. As you can see, he's only 1.1 seconds off of us, so he's definitely going to be, as you can see, just tucked in behind Charles Leclerc. As you look on the rearview mirror, Sergio Perez is going to take a look. He made a move on Leclerc like this, and he's going to make a move on me like it. And Jesus Christ, I'm going to get swallowed up there. Charles Leclerc through, so we are back down to reality, and we're in P4. And that's just how easy it is to lose the positions. Leclerc getting the DRS. I'm going to get some DRS, I hope also. And it looks to be that we have eked the position out, and we are through on Charles Leclerc. Sergio Perez has gone way forward, but Lewis Hamilton's now taken a chance at Leclerc. This is absolutely crazy. No one's position is safe in this Grand Prix as everyone is battling it out for every point and every position. We're going to get DRS on this straight, so hopefully we gain a decent bit of time between myself and Sergio Perez. He's gone off though. He's not going to be pitting this lap. I am though. Lap 11 of 25. I'm going in for the medium tyre. The soft is completely ruined. Charles Leclerc and George Russell also pitting. So it'll be interesting to see who is going to come out and whereas we hope to an optimal pit stop, our pit stops have been unbelievable this season. Pit team doing really well as they change the tyre for the mediums, and away we go from the pit lane. Lap 12 and 25, and we haven't got that many laps in this Grand Prix, so this was going to be an interesting end in all honesty. As you say, lap 12 of 25, we're going to make up some positions as we go. Obviously there's going to be other people pitting in front of us, and also there's going to be back markers that I think we might just overtake also. I feel like our pace is that good. The gap between myself and Gasly is 4 seconds. I've got Charles Leclerc just behind me, so this is going to be interesting to see if I'm going to give him a tow and if he's going to be able to kind of get past me at any point. He is very close, as you can see. He's going to actually collides with me there. As you can see, the back wheel really spins out, and we're going to make some spaces up. So Gasly's in the pit, Stroll's in the pit, and someone else in the pit, Piastri in the pit, and we are back up to, so we're now P5. Hamilton in the pit. We're going to go in front of him, and as you can see, Sergio Perez just coming out of the pits, and he is in P3 at the moment, but Hulkenberg is yet to pit. So once he does pit, we will go resuming back into P3. This is certainly worked out in our favour. The race strategy working really well. We're not going to get DRS from Perez, but we are going to be from Hulkenberg on lap 14 of 25. 400ths of a second splits by him and myself. He's not going to be putting up much of a battle, I don't think, in the Haas car. He hasn't got the power compared to what I have in this vehicle. But in all honesty, I don't think on the actual comparison of parts that they're that far off in me. In honesty, I have many upgrades to come as we look to try and make a clean move on Hulkenberg, not trying to ruin his race or mine. I'm pretty sure he's holding me up, if anything, to be honest. Wanted him to let me go, but he's not obliged to. He's not a back marker, but he is going into the pit, so that allows me the space, and through we go on Nico Hulkenberg, resuming the position of P3 as we go over the line to complete lap 14 of 25. Sergio Perez getting the fastest lap, and we have got 10 laps left in this Austrian Grand Prix. It is looking really good though, because Charles Leclerc 1.9 seconds behind me, 3.8 seconds now in lap 19 of 25. It just gets better, and as we go on and as we put the car around this circuit, the kind of cope and everything else is starting to go in my brain, and we might, just might, get podium. This would be unbelievable stuff in all honesty, and as you can see, it's getting closer and closer. Lap 24 of 25 as we look to go over the checkered flag for the penultimate time, as then we will be going on to the final lap of the race. 5 seconds in front of me. I'm not fast because 8 seconds behind me in Lando Norris. Charles Leclerc, I don't know where he's gone. Lando Norris and George Russell making up the top 5. They're having a battle between themselves as the positions change. And also, as you can see, Perez making moves on Carlos Sainz. So there's a battle in front, as you can see. And then Logan Sargent, the back marker. This is the first time we're going to actually overtake a back marker in this series, which is actually unreal in honesty, and that just goes to show you how far we've come. And this is the 10th round that we're in now, bearing in mind, so this has taken a little while to get where we need to be, and I hope next season we have a competitive car and everything else. The signals for the blue flags are being raised for Logan Sargent as we look to try and overtake the back marker. I'm not in any rush in all honesty, because you can see the gap behind me. We have made up some time in front of me, honestly. I think if they had more of a battle and they came closer near on, we might have just been battling for the even better positions. As we look to go down the hill, we hit the final corner and we're going to weave in and out like we have won the Grand Prix. But before we do that, Sergio Perez crosses the line and he is the race winner. So it's not Max Verstappen the race winner this time, but it's still a Red Bull. And as I say, we weave in and out on the circuit. Unbelievable stuff. P3 for JD Cook Motorsport. This is insane. Our first podium, and it will be interesting to see us on that step. This has been such a good Grand Prix. Driver of the day going to George Russell. Everything worked in our favour from start to finish. Our practice sessions were good. Our qualifying was okay, but that got made up in our sprint race. The sprint race actually helped us out more than anything. I'm not a fan of sprint races, don't get me wrong. I feel like some of them are a bit of a waste, but if you can get the points and everything else, that's the main thing. As we shake hands with Sergio Perez, recognising what he has done in this Grand Prix, as he goes on to celebrate with his team, and Carlos Sainz making up the second place. unbelievable stuff as we wait to go and get on the podium and receive our trophy. As I say though, from start to finish it's been absolutely unbelievable. We really pushed hard in this Grand Prix and the effort is really paying off. As the upgrades go on, obviously it's going to get better, it's like anything, and we look to kind of proceed and make ourselves go up the rankings. As we go to retrieve our trophies, this is really cool to see, and honestly the first time we be on the actual step itself. We're not on the top step just yet. I think we might be waiting to maybe the end of the season, maybe the start of the season. I don't think we can get anywhere near that just yet. But everyone is shaking the champagne in jubilation as they celebrate with their team and the fans. And this is so good to see myself celebrating with Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez. Going on to the standings now, a confirmation. So we got 16 points from that race and then 2 points from the sprint race. We got fastest lap also, so we've come away with 18 points this round. Really good stuff from us. As you look now, as you can see, the different standings. It's Lance Stroll getting in 10th, and Piastri. So there was a difference in the 10th. As you see, Liam Lawson down the bottom also, no surprise there whatsoever. Stroll, Piastri, Leclerc, Alonso. So yeah, some really big drivers in that P10. It's so competitive. Leclerc dropping down really highly. P7 in the actual standings itself and P4 in the constructors. This will be interesting to see what changes that will make near to the end of the season if we get anywhere nearer. But yeah, this has been really enjoyable and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So please like and subscribe for more content just like this one, and don't forget to hit the notification button so you never miss a video. Cheers.